Hey guys, welcome to Project Metal Music's YouTube channel with your host Elion, and we are here with the brilliant Thaen Rasmussen. So welcome, Thaen.
Thank you, Elliot. It's good to be here.
Yeah. So Thaen, could you introduce yourself and what you do?
Oh, well, you got the name right. That's good. Not everybody does. Thaen Rasmussen, um, with the Thaen Rasmussen Project, TRP. Um, I basically play guitar foremostly and write. And I did actually play bass on the record out of necessity. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So let's dive into some questions. As a kid, what were you basically listening to?
Well, there was a lot of music in the house, when I was a child, and um, rock and roll stuff, you know, and but anywhere from, let's say, the Beatles to John Coltrane. There's a bit of a wide range there, you know.
Yeah.
But that got me going, and I was digging it even as a kid, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah. So who
I
actually
mean,
got you into music? Sorry?
who got me into music?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'd say it started, back then, and I don't know if there's anybody in particular that did, but you know, like I said, I've been listening and exposed to, you know, different kinds of music since I was a child, and I started to, I tried to play guitar when I was about 9 years old, and it was rather difficult, so I didn't really stick with it at the time. But by the time I got to about 14, and being around other friends and things, being exposed to new music, I thought, let's try this again. So I started doing it. An old friend of mine, Phil Farley, was playing guitar, and I was pretty interested in what he was doing. He was playing like Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, and stuff like that, and so I started getting into that. You know, I was into being a magician actually for a bit, because he was also doing that. So, but yeah, that's about the time, and things started rolling, and I would just kept going with it, learning on my own pretty much, with a few lessons here and there,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
mostly self-taught.
Yeah. Who was that? Who was the inspiration for you to become like a guitarist or a musician in general?
Well, it goes back, I think, even before I was really playing that much. I mean, I was, inspired by Jimi Hendrix and Richie Blackmore and Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck, you know, the older classic guys, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and also Neil Sean. That was a little bit later, but he was definitely an influence on me on the very early Journey stuff prior to Steve Perry.
Yeah.
I'd say that's a good list.
Cool.
Yeah,
Cool. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So were you in any bands prior to starting the Thaen Rasmussen project?
Yes, yes. Yeah, quite a few actually. I mean, in I'd say in 79, 80, I started working with some guys, and doing original music. It was called Viking with a Y, and that was the precursor to when I changed over to Anvil Chorus. Because basically, I was hanging out with Kurt Vanderhoof, and at that time, when I was doing that, and they were actually, before their metal church, they were going to call themselves Anvil Chorus for 5 minutes. You know, it was a thing. The other guitar player, Rick Condren, he came up with that one. I mean, obviously, it's an old name because it comes from an old opera by Verdi, but and I was hanging around. I was like, that's cool, you know. And then there was a house called the Metal Church before there was a band where we would hang out and stuff. And they ended up switching to that moniker, and I basically asked, you don't mind if I use that name, do you? It's a cool name, and being Anvil Chorus. And that's what it changed from Viking to Anvil Chorus in about 1980. And so I was doing that for a while, and that's when the club scene started happening with the hard rock metal kind of situation. And then, I was in another kind of thrash band called Control, which also had Doug Piercy in it, because he was in the Anvil Chorus as well. And he was also in Heathen later on. I did that. There was a few different things. Notably after that, later on in about 1990, I was playing in a band called Spy vs. Spy, which we'd actually, my friend John Simon, who I worked with back then, I was pushing him to re-record the stuff, and in the last couple of years, and we put out the record. I did some stuff with him. Most recently, it's actually called SBS 11. If anybody wants to check it out, it's pretty cool stuff. And also, I was in Vicious Rumors, if you've heard of them.
Yeah.
I was in that band from late 2006 to 2016, off and on. Did some touring in Europe, stuff like that. And that's the most notable, I imagine.
Yeah. So what have you been up to, especially over these last, say, since 2020?
Well, the record it was completed right before the pandemic hit, which was interesting because I was very excited to get it out, and I kind of held off because there wasn't any way to support it, and so I just let it sit for a bit, obviously, that period of time, and so waited a bit until this last October when it came out.
So since they released the album, have you been writing any new material, or are you planning on any tours to support the album, or writing any new material to do a follow album for it?
Yeah, I do have some stuff in the can, stuff that I had worked on prior, or about the same time was writing the record. I've got a good amount of tunes, and still writing a bit, taking a little break recently, just trying to focus on this release, and trying to get it out there. I still need to get it onto the streaming services and stuff like that. Because it was just released on CD through No Dust Records, in the Netherlands, and Animated Insanity Records in the New York area. They're a partnership kind of situation. Yeah. So, but and also, yes, I hope to. We're basically putting. We haven't really played the stuff in the same room as a band yet, and that's what I'm hoping to do in the next month or so, is get everybody in the room and put it together and do a record release show. Initially, and yes, I would like to take it out. I'd like to take it out. Especially, I'd like to get back to Europe. Because I love playing. On the other side. I've had nice experiences.
Yeah, I was going to ask, would you be, are you thinking about coming over to Europe or down to South Africa or up to Canada?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was. I was saying. I was going to ask, would you be thinking about coming over to Europe or down to South Africa or to the North America?
Oh, I would love to. Yeah. I think the kind of music that it is, it's a little more old school stuff, and I think it might be more appreciated, in other areas, besides the U.S. I'm not sure. Maybe the U.S. is fine, but it seems that alternate areas like South America and Europe and other places, wherever they like it, that's where we should go, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, where can people find you on social media?
Well, at this point, I have a Facebook band page. It's Facebook.com/TRP the band, I believe it is. I always forget that. But and then I have my own Facebook page, and then also it's available digitally on Bandcamp.com so far, and I'm going to get it up on the streaming services pretty soon. Basically,
Cool.
That needs to be done.
Yeah. Have you got sort of like merchandise shop? Or have you got any merchandise so people can say, "Oh, I like that." There's Thaen Rasmussen has got a T-shirt, or so they can actually go out and buy support, like sort of like buy merchandise.
No, not as of yet. No. But it is in my mind to do so. Just it has not quite yet. Yeah. It's still kind of in the process, trying to figure out how to do everything, and But that is going to happen, and that information will be available. Yeah. Come like my page, follow all that stuff. The information will be there as it comes.
Yeah. So, any advice? This is probably going to be my last question. Is there any advice you can give to for people who want to become a musician?
My advice is, if you're going to do this, and you need to do it because you love doing it, because it's a very crowded landscape out there, and as times have changed, with the social media presence and all that, you got to push it, and you just basically you have to love doing what you do. You know what I mean? Because people that don't love it enough, they usually fall to the wayside, I think. It's a true love situation.
That goes for most most things that people do, like whether it be the actor, a musician, or whatever it is, you've got to have a love for it.
Yeah, and just stick by it and keep going. There are no guarantees. You just do what you love to do, and hopefully other people love it as well and support it and keep it going so you can.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, Thaen, thank you so much for coming on and doing this little interview. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you and talking to you and getting to know a little bit about you. So thank you so much for coming on and doing this little interview. And guys, go check out Thaen on Facebook and everything. So I've listened to his music and he's absolutely brilliant. So go check him out.
Thank you so much, Elliot. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Thaen. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Cool. Cheers.